Good evening, Dr. Webb. This is for the Reflecting Connect. The article that we went over this week talked a lot about different technologies and how they can be used in the classroom. This goes over and breaks down the different parts of the classroom and ways you can use this technology. The first way is talking about just the setup of the classroom and overall design and how you want it to be. One of the big things I think that it goes over is having a whiteboard. This is something that I've seen in every music classroom I've observed and every music classroom that I remember. Obviously, when I was in early elementary school, that was before they really started using these things. But other than that, every orchestra classroom I've been in definitely has. So middle school and then both the high school orchestras that they had. This can be used for a lot of things. One of the main things it's used for is the greeting slide, like that we do in class, where we have the objectives on the board and what's going to get done for that day. Another thing is it goes over different ways to do tuning. One of the main things it talks about, obviously, is using different apps for tuners. You can run a tuning app that each of the students can have. They can all use on their own, so they can tune their instruments. So this allows them to tune more independently. Another thing is going on something like YouTube or an app that has drones, and then running drones then makes it a lot easier for the students to be able to hear the pitch, and then they'll hear that reference pitch and then be able to tune with that reference pitch. Using one reference pitch also allows the students to be able to tune to that pitch, instead of if some students have a different app, they might tune differently because the app might be slightly different, or maybe their microphone on their phone is different. There's a few different technical things that might go awry if each of the students have different tuning apps. Another thing it goes over is different ways to do warm-ups. And a lot of these things would be things you consider backing tracks or things the students would play with. Some of these would be like a drum beat or something in GarageBand, like custom-made beat or a drum beat. Another thing that you could just have is them you can have them play to a reference pitch. Say they're playing a certain scale, you have them just play the root of the scale, or say you want them to just work on a rhythm, you can have that backing track with the drum beat play that rhythm for you while the students play with that rhythm. This can be both to help them and play the rhythm, or be a rhythm that they would play against. Another big thing that goes over is different ways to do assessment, and there are a lot of different ways to do this. One way would be something for Google Forms, which I also think Google Forms could be something to help set up the class. Say you have new students that you don't really know well, you can use this to judge based on their position. Maybe you can include what are some solos you've played, just to get a gauge on their experience and know where they are and what they're doing musically at this point. Another thing it can be used for is more of a written kind of quiz, where the students can type out their information. You get all this information quickly. If you make it multiple choice, they get their grades back immediately. They know how they did. They can look over how they did. Another thing it goes over is just different recording technologies. You can use these so then you can be able to send in recordings or have videos practice videos, or maybe you do your tests where they send in videos. People can use things just like their phone, or they can use different more complex technology such as microphones or other recording devices. Another thing it talks about is using Zoom or Google Meets to meet with the classroom or students. Another thing I think this is a great resource for that we've used in our classroom is that we've had other teachers and other people be able to get on there and give their perspective, talk with them. I think using Google Meets, not only just to meet with people in your classroom, but people in the field that maybe you couldn't be able to get to go into your classroom, is an amazing resource instead of just using it to meet with them. Obviously, both are both very good resources, but overall, this article did a very good job discussing technology and giving a lot of good examples on what forms of technology you can use in the classroom.